Welcome to the Fantasize podcast, where three grown men pass the time by telling each other their deepest, darkest fantasies. Here we go.
I've been taking the train. It's been making me pretty horny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said last week, you said the temptation is too much on the train.
Yeah, you said you were staring at all the 18 and 19-year-old women on the college campus.
It's not even the college people. It's everyone. I'm trying to wrap my head around it myself. Just started commuting again. There's so many attractive people on the train, and each one's got a different story, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
What about them is the most attractive feature to you?
How they carry themselves.
Yeah, that tells a story.
Let's say the train's packed. You need to get by.
Mm-hmm.
You can determine a lot about how someone is sexually by how they navigate either around you or you around them.
That's so true.
And little things, a lot of things can happen on the train.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can brush past someone, you can get a whiff of their hair, or their hand could, when they're picking up their bag, you know, brush your pants. You make eye contact with people, you're bumping into them. It's hot. You're all stressed, but you know, you all kind of like the ride too, because you get to be around other people, and that's a human thing.
I get the sense that every time I ride the bus or train, like 90% of the people on there are secretly wishing that the train would go off the rails and crash and catch fire and they'd all die. You get that vibe, Mike?
Maybe the vibe's different here.
I'm in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, see.
A lot of people hate themselves here.
Ground zero.
Yeah.
Me, I'm in Chicago. People do things a little bit different here. The sex culture is very different than DC. You keep things to yourself. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You don't brag about what you have.
Down to earth people.
Yeah, down to earth. It's not about showing off. It's more of a working class kind of situation.
Yeah, sexual meat and potatoes.
Yeah. That doesn't mean we're all out of shape or anything.
Tell me about today. What happened today? Give me an example from today.
A lot of eye contact from strange, beautiful women.
Mm-hmm.
Love that.
Well, there was one woman on the train. She seemed like she seemed white, but she wasn't exactly white. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There might have been like a touch of like a Middle Eastern thing into her. Bugged eyes, weird eyeliner. Looked like she was crying, but she wasn't.
Popping out of the skull, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gross or anything. You say eyes popping out of the skull, it seems like it's perverse. It's not what I'm trying to.
Oh, gotcha.
To say.
Just big eyes.
Just
pump
big
the
eyes,
brakes. Yeah, big eyes. And she was wearing like white and beige, like light beige. That's someone I would never dream in a million years I would be have the possibility of having sex with. But then there I was on the train with them. Then giving me eyes, I giving them eyes, stealing glances back and forth.
Yeah.
Smiling. Once you know what I mean? Playing games with your eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Here's how it started. Let me back it up. I'm looking out the window, and as always, I'm scanning around to see who's attractive on the train. This is a common thing. All men do it. If they say they don't, they're liars, or there's something deeply wrong with them.
Even Pitbull does it. The second he steps on the train, scanning the whole
He's like the Terminator.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not a ranking thing. It's just, you're just seeing what's going on. You're a human being. And sometimes you find some people who aren't brainwashed, who aren't sheeple, who aren't buried deeply into their phones like most of the brainwashed morons we have to live with today. These people are ruined for the rest of their lives. They basically reprogrammed their brain to be hooked on these phones. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Basically, it's the same thing as living in like a world of junkies. You know what I mean? They made drugs illegal, yet we have these phones that are just frying people's synapses. They're brain dead morons. Honestly, they're dumb.
They're just totally lobotomized.
They just need a couple of generations. I mean, this generation and the next one and the one after are pretty much ruined. If we're going to get back on track, we need to basically just wrap these people up and just shoot them to the moon and blow up the moon. So anyways.
Like, read a fucking book. You know what I mean?
When's the last time you read a book?
Well, a couple years ago.
You don't even know.
No, I do. It was an Elmore Leonard book. I read it on vacation.
Which one?
Rum
Punch. Jackie Brown.
Yeah, Jackie Brown.
That's what Jackie Brown's based off of. Switch the races for some reason. Some people think that's his favorite. Okay, so I'm looking around, scoping it out. I see some other beautiful people of different classes, different races. No one's off. No one gets off on my radar. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I come across this woman. Maybe she's Armenian. Maybe she's Middle Eastern. Maybe she's just a weird white person. You know what I mean? With weird genes. I don't know. It doesn't matter. They have beige, normal, weird-ass clothes that don't make any sense. They're on their way to some office job. They probably have Subway for lunch.
Yeah.
But something about that simplicity is a massive turn on. I am staring at them just thinking about this. They're looking around, in train mode. They catch my eyes. I look away. I'm nervous. I'm shy. I talk all on and on about all this stuff. I'm shy. I'm a shy guy. And my heart's racing and I'm like embarrassed. And I look back and she's giving me a look, like staring at me like straight up robotic. And then gives me a slight smile and then looks away. And then I'm like, oh.
It's on.
I'm like, okay, that was nice. I smile back and then she looks away. And she's like, no harm, no foul is what it says with the eyes. Mm-hmm. And so I start shifting my body around, just trying to make noise and stuff. I'm doing some sniffing where I go like,
what are you trying
that kind
to
of
attract?
stuff.
Are you trying to attract attention to you? Like, what's the
you're just trying to get attention. Yeah.
Oh, got it.
So I'm doing that, rubbing my face.
Yeah.
Damn. You know what I mean? Rubbing my nose and stuff like that.
Yeah.
She looks back and I'm like, I'm looking downward, but my eyes are up. I mean, my head's facing downward, but I'm looking up and I'm smiling a little bit.
Like Jack Nicholson.
And she, laughs. Exactly, but it's playful. It's not psycho. And she laughs, looks away, and then not like rubbing her chest in a erotic way, but like putting her palm on her like a breastplate and kind of just like slowly rubbing it and then looking back at me. You know what I mean? Like blushful, playful like that.
Yeah.
This escalates. She gets up. I already have a hard on. I'm like, oh my God, this is happening. Brr, brr. It's her stop. She gets off the train, walks away. And there's someone sitting next to me between me and the window. Yeah. I straight up just shove them out of the way so I can like look out the window, puppy dog eyes. I'm a puppy in a pet shop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Uh-huh. God, that must have broke your heart a little bit.
It did, but that's what the charge is there. You know what I mean? Something like that can get you riled up.
Yeah, and I know you're dead. You've been dead inside for probably like 10 or 15 years, but that still kind of smarts.
Yeah.
Let's get right into it. Us guys have been honing our fantasy crafts for years. Like we can walk into any room, any party, and within 5 minutes, if not less, have everybody dripping wet or coming simply by our ability to spin a tail, right?
Easy.
That's easy. The challenge today, I'm going to present you guys with a situation that is extremely ripe for erotic fantasy. Your challenge today is to turn that situation completely non-sexual, desexualize it entirely, but still find a way to come in the fantasy. Here's the first prompt. Okay. A casting director sees you in a supermarket and would love for you to play the romantic opposite of Dakota Fanning and Audrey Tautou. It's a Vincent Gallo movie, so there will be full penetration in the three-way scene. The going rate is $500,000, but Audrey and Dakota really want you, and they're willing to go up to $1 million to see you in this picture. Your wife is encouraging, thinking of the money, and that it's strictly professional situation. You arrive on set. Dakota and Audrey are super nice, welcoming, and excited that you are on the project. They strip, and it's just you, Dakota, Audrey, and a female camera woman, who you later find out is Lisa Kudrow. How do you make this situation unsexual while still coming? That's the challenge that's presented to you guys today.
And the movie requires full penetration from me.
Yes.
Which is really
So you gotta get hard.
You gotta get hard. You gotta do it all, and it's all completely sanctioned and professional, but still fun and exciting because you have such a good rapport with Audrey and Dakota. Like, how can you fuck this up to the point where it's no longer a sexual situation? Like you shit the bed in some way, shape, or form.
Okay.
But you still have to come in the end.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I got an idea. I mean, it might just be. You guys know I've done some acting before, so this is kind of let me take the lead on this one because I feel like I've done.
Yeah, get us started here. Let's lay it for you.
Yeah. So, I would hire a hypnotist. So when someone says "and action," I believe that I am having sex with zombies, dead people, basically real psychopath stuff. And the situation is the only way to kill the zombies is to have sex with them, and then their heads blow up after they are pleasured sexually. So I'm doing this, I'm prepping for the role. I'm getting into character, and I know the sex scene is going to happen. I really don't want to disappoint Vincent Gallo because he's he hired me. I'm getting a lot of money. Might be good. It might lead to some more roles. If not, it would just be fun to perform with these two talented actors and director. I mean, the guy makes a movie once in a lifetime. I mean, when will this happen again? So I'm on set. I didn't realize that like before every scene they say "and action." So I really am doing like a really bad performance in the movie. For example, there's a part where we're in a diner and a mother and grandmother are offering to have a three-way with me. And that's Audrey Tautou and Dakota Fanning. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay. So when that happens, I immediately like start attacking everyone sexually and stuff like that and trying to make everyone come. I actually make the director come and Lisa Kudrow come a couple different times. They realize that for me to act, I have to like kind of bust two zombies before I can perform and do the lines. So they're getting pretty fed up with me. Finally, it's the time for the sex scene. And I'm starting to get deprogrammed. So they say, "and action." And I end up sodomizing Vincent Gallo and have, proper sex with Lisa Kudrow. And at that point we've had sex so many times that we've worked it out, and it's like very automatic. We made some room on the craft services table, and she and I are communicating really well while we're having sex, panting and talking to each other and trying to get the job done. So I bust both times. Gallo's all business. He just bends over and it's just let's get this show on the road. Meanwhile, my eyes are like, I'm somewhere else. Then it's time to perform. All the critics say the scene is very cold and not good. They're like, this is a really unbelievable, better performances on like the lowest of low amateur websites. I'm just stiff, I'm cold. It seems like I don't even want to be there. It's a lot like Tom Cruise in the latest Top Gun movie. He has absolutely no rapport with Jennifer Connelly, and there's a sex scene that's it's unbelievable. You guys got to see it. That's it. Sorry, yeah, I'm just rambling here. That's
so you've been hypnotized to think that this entire sex scene and this like orgy that is happening, that most people would find it extremely erotic and exciting. In your brain, you're just slaughtering zombies in an attempt to save yourself. And
yeah, I'm terrified. Yeah, I'm terrified. I'm in like a cold sweat. I'm shaking.
You're fighting for your life.
Yeah.
That was good.
Thanks. It's tricky. It's a tricky prompt.
Yeah, but I figure a couple of fantasy men like us were up for it.
Yeah.
What about you, John?
So my agent calls me and he's like, "You're never going to believe who wants to fuck you." And I'm like, "Who?" And he's like, "Audrey Tautou." Is that her name? Audrey Tautou?
Yeah.
And Dakota Fanning. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, really? I've been wanting to fuck Dakota ever since she turned 18 in 2012. He's like, "It's a Vincent Gallo film." He's like, "I know you guys aren't really close or anything like that." And I was like, I don't, I'll do anything right now. Vincent calls me and he's like, He's like, I want this to be like the last movie I ever make, you know? He's like, I want it to be really special, but I need you to lose some weight. And I'm just like, how much? He's like, you know Christian Bale and The Machinist? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, I want you to lose like 70 more pounds. Vince, I'm like 210 right now. I'd have to get down to like 98 pounds. And he's like, you got to do it. So this is like a year or two before we start filming. And, he's like, I also want you to like go method on this. And I'm like, fuck, all right. I'm dropping weight. Well, I'm losing like 8 pounds a week. And he keeps coming over and pull up my shirt and touch my stomach and will say like, you're still too fat. We still can't film yet. And just, I keep getting smaller and smaller, and the whole time I'm jacking off to Dakota like every night. I'm getting more and more into the character, and we film like some early scenes, and Vincent, you know, he thinks I'm not raw enough. So I get a little more aggressive on set, to the point where I'm just alienating people. Everyone kind of hates me. Vincent just keeps pushing me like harder and harder. Keeps telling me about how abusive he was to Christina Ricci on Buffalo 66. Keeps telling me I'm never going to work again. So everything gets a little more intense. By the time I film the sex scene, Dakota Fanning just doesn't even want to work with me anymore. We started filming. I barely have an erection because I'm so sick from losing all the weight. Kind of miserable sex on film, and I look over at Vincent, and his pants are just kind of puddled with cum. That's the fantasy.
Wow.
Do you bust?
Vincent kind of busts for me,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He kind of just controlled me for about a year or two.
Got it.
That's what it was really about.
It was about him. It's all about him.
So he got off on what was the end result of the work that he put in, which is you being just absolutely decrepit.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's like his whole thing anyways, right? Like, just breaks people down.
He's got an eating disorder, you can tell.
Oh, definitely.
His head to body ratio is completely off. He's been anorexic he's had an eating disorder for 50 years.
All the way back since Truth and Consequences, New Mexico.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever seen him in anything.
I feel like for a minute he was in a lot of like the 90s B movies that you would get at like Blockbuster.
But every time he did like an interview, he would talk about how he was in Goodfellas. And I've seen Goodfellas so many times. I've never seen Vincent Gallo in it.
Me either. All right, so I'm on set. We're filming in like Joshua Tree, somewhere out in the desert, like California.
It's beautiful out there.
Gorgeous landscape, gorgeous scenery. He insists on shooting at the same time of day every evening, so we have to we're staying there, and he won't let us sleep in like trailers or hotel. Like we have to sleep in tents and shit like that, which is fine because it's more like glamping. Like everything is, you know, there's like craft services, catering, really nice bed with a bunch of high thread count sheets. So it's just really nice. Every day they would have Blue Apron sent out to us. The way in which food is grown and distributed is complicated, and making good choices for your family can be difficult. Blue Apron is changing that by partnering with farmers to raise the highest quality ingredients, by creating a distribution system that delivers ingredients at a better value, and by investing in the things that matter most. Our environment and our communities. This will be a decades-long effort, but with each Blue Apron home chef, together we can build a better food system. So Blue Apron doing really great things with food sustainability, farm to table. The food was incredible. I had a seared blackened salmon with pesto, rotini, and I tell you, I thought it was restaurant quality food, you know. And I prepared it myself right there in the oven that they had in the camp, in our tent that Vincent Gallo gave us. So, anyways, it was really nice. I come onto set, like right when we're about to shoot the sex scene. We're supposed to be shooting, like it's me, Audrey Tattoo and Dakota Fanning fucking in a wash, which is dried out river basin in the desert. So I show up really scared, really nervous. These two Hollywood heavyweights. I'm in a bathrobe. The makeup and hair team was working on my dick for like an hour beforehand, just making sure it looked really good. All of a sudden, standing there, get a sharp shooting pain in my dick. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And it's like crippling. I'm thinking like, is it like a kidney stone? Like, what the fuck is going on? So I'm like, Vincent, I can't. I feel sick. I feel like I'm in so much pain in my throat. He thinks I'm bullshitting. He thinks I'm getting cold feet. So he's like, fuck. All right. Can we get this guy to a doctor? And then we can maybe still get him checked out. We can still have time to shoot while the sun is still good. So I go to a doctor in town in Joshua Tree. He sits me down and gives me an x-ray. He looks at the results of the x-ray and he's like, you got a ladybug that crawled down your dick. I'm like, a ladybug? How the fuck did it? He's like, I don't know. But sometimes they'll crawl in holes and lay eggs, and it seems like one crawled down your dick and laid an egg. We're going to have to, the only way to get it out is to come. And so he walks out of the room. He comes back in with, one of those bottles of like medical grade lube that they have at like ultrasounds, and a plastic glove. This guy's like 68, smells like he wears Right Guard spray. He's got really, really like a really tan white guy, like he golfs a lot.
He's cheap
piece of shit. So he lifts my legs up like I was a baby, like he's changing my diaper. And he lubes up his, not just one finger, but two fingers, and sticks it in my ass and starts milking me. And I'm in, mind you, in excruciating pain. I'm like, can you at least give me anesthesia or something like that? And he's like, no, that wouldn't work. That wouldn't be good. So he's milking me. Through the pain, I'm able to ejaculate and shoot the ladybug out. And it splatters, and like a whole bunch of like blood and pus and mucus comes out. Absolutely excruciating. I barely even registered that it came. Vincent is so pissed off at me that he fires me on the spot and he casts somebody else to play the role. The guy from Community, Joel McHale. And that's it. That's the end.
How did the ladybug just crawled in?
Just crawled in.
When you were sleeping?
Yeah, because from sleeping out in those tents. Apparently, when ladybugs lay their eggs, they usually will crawl into like a tubular flower, like a lily or like morning glory or something like that, and lay their eggs. But if there isn't one around, like in a desert, they crawl into your dick hole, ear, or asshole, or sometimes your nostril. So just for me, it just happened to crawl into my dick hole.
Yeah, that's true. They feel safer in like small places like that. John, you're in Ohio, right?
Yeah.
Did you ever get any like creepy vibes there?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, that makes sense. Because I'm watching this show called Devil in Ohio. It's a miniseries on Netflix and premiered a couple days ago, and I'm having a blast with it. I'm already on episode 3, and I have to tell you, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm at the edge of my seat on every episode. It's drama, horror, mystery. When a psychiatrist shelters a mysterious cult escapee, her world is turned upside down as the girl's arrival threatens to tear her own family apart. It stars Emily Deschanel, Sam Yeager, and Gerardo Kalesko. Guys, you gotta check this out. It's called Devil in Ohio, and it's on any streaming service where you can get Netflix.
It sounds compelling. I'll have to tune into it tonight. Thanks for the recommendation.
Oh, you're in for a treat.
I'm always looking for hot new shows to watch, to binge watch.
So you watched that movie with the woman who saw her husband having sex in the office, right?
Yeah. How about that?
Man,
the woman he was cheating on. How about her?
Wow, what a
boobs?
knockout!
What did you think about her breasts?
I thought they were perfect. I thought she was a beautiful person, and well, it sounds like you have something specific you want to say about that.
It seems they seem very. They seem like they were fake, and this seems like it was the way he was grabbing them.
Go on.
It felt like he was putting a lot of weight and pressure on them that I don't think seemed very realistic.
Like he was pushing on them downward, like palming them downward.
Yes, he seems like a guy who hasn't had a lot of sex with women, which leads me to think he's not attracted to women in real life. Okay. He's like, this is maybe what it feels like to hold a woman's breasts while making love.
Well, it's interesting you bring that up. As a professional actor, these guys, they can't get erections. It's considered unprofessional to get an erection on. Yeah.
What a terrible life.
So he's probably trying to do subtly weird things to psych out his own sex drive. It's kind of similar to what we were describing earlier on.
How many people are in a room when they're filming something like that?
In my experience?
Yeah.
I always demand that we strip down the crew to just a few people so that it has more of an intimate vibe.
Uh-huh.
And one time I did this. The actress I was acting with, she felt uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
So I demanded that all of the crew members get in their underwear so that they knew what it felt like. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I heard that Billy Crystal during the sex scene in There's Something About Mary, when Harry Met Sally. Yeah. Not only did he demand that the whole crew leave, he demanded that the camera person leave, that everybody left. So it was just him and Meg Ryan fucking on the floor.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Is there even a sex scene in that movie?
I don't think so.
It's like a Rob Reiner movie.
Yeah. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I've never seen it. I feel like I don't need to. It's been referenced so many times.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna toss you this next one. You guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this is a steamy, sexy scenario that you have to kill somehow, but at the same time end up coming. Okay. So you're in an office building downtown, big high rise. A woman gets into the elevator with you. It's your high school crush. Sexual tension was always high, but circumstances were such that nothing ever happened. The elevator suddenly stops abruptly. You are trapped. While you wait for assistance, you both get to talking about how you always regretted not hooking up when you were in high school. So that's where I'm going to throw you guys in. How are you going to kill it, but still come?
Damn, stuck in an elevator.
Yep.
Is the AC still working?
I mean, it's your call. Your fantasy.
Damn. That's crazy.
Can you imagine how hot that would be?
All right, I think I'll go. So I go in the elevator. It's my high school crush, she's the daughter of my boss. We're in a skyscraper in Manhattan. We're on the 90th floor. I'm going down. We make it 2 floors and it stops. We're stuck for 3 minutes, and I'm nervous. I'm uncomfortable. I'm aware of how high we are. So I'm just pounding bulletproof coffee. Now, bulletproof coffee is not your average latte. It was created by Bulletproof founder Dave Asprey. It's an energizing, keto-friendly coffee drink that has guided everyone from driven CEOs to professional athletes to busy parents to get more done. So, I'm kind of hyped, on the coffee, a lot of caffeine. I sort of have to shit. She's nervous. She's scared. I'm kind of trying to talk her down, just tell her, it's going to be fine, they know that we're stuck. And the problem is that I know that they don't know that because it's after hours. We were putting in extra hours trying to get shit done. So there's an emergency button. We keep hitting it. Nothing's happening. And it's like 2-3 hours in. And I'm like, we got to try something. And she's like, I could try to like climb up there and see if we can like open up the door to another floor. And so I'm like, all right, I'll help you up. So she's wearing like a mini skirt, little garter belt. And I hoist her up. She's on my shoulders, like vagina's on the back of my head. And I lift her up by her thighs and hoist her up. The elevator starts to move and she just kind of jostles around. And then her body kind of turns and her pussy lands on my face. Through the underwear. But it's so hot in there, it's super sweaty. That her shit, it's all kind of tangled and moved to the side. So I get like a little bit of her vagina on my nose. And I love I love the smell. So I get her up there. She's like, there's no way out. I don't know what to do. And I'm like, well, the security cameras are on, so they're going to see us eventually. We might have to wait here the whole weekend. And she's like, well, I'm scared and I'm bored. She's like, I know that you've always, had a thing for me. And she's like, when else are we going to be able to do something like this? And I'm just like, I'm like, yeah, I know, but like, your dad. And she's like, who cares? Like, this might be your last meal. And I'm like, yeah, you're right, but I can't do that. And she's like, all right, well, she's like, I'm going to masturbate then. And I'm just like, fuck. All right. So she gets on all fours and she's masturbating. I've taken her garter belt and tied it around my penis so I don't come. So I'm not tempted. And she just goes at it for like 45 minutes straight. Comes like 3 or 4 times. And finally the lights kick on. Like the main lights kick on in the elevator and we start to head down. She looks at me and I'm standing there and just like Vincent Gallo, she can see that I've ejaculated into my pants. That's it.
That one was hot.
Hey, thanks.
That one had me going.
Mm-hmm. So she was just like, fuck you then.
Yeah, I mean, she just... I don't know, she thought we were going to die, I guess.
This might be your last meal. That must haunt your ass.
Yeah, you're probably kicking yourself for that.
I should have had her, as she's holding herself up, she should have said, here's your last meal, and then she flips her body over and slams her vagina onto my face. That would have been cool too.
So the tension is that like you don't want to do anything that will get you in hot water with your pops.
No, and I also, I'm full of bulletproof coffee, which if you don't know, bulletproof coffee it's basically a stick of butter inside your coffee.
Yeah.
And
Is it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's basically just like oil, coffee and oil.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's like...
And the guy invented it. His name is Steve Shit Spray?
Dave Asprey.
Oh, duh.
I think.
Here, it's got like butter in it.
The oil is supposed to like keep you full.
Right.
That's so gross. Have you had it before?
I've never had it, but I remember people were trying to, like when it came out, people were like, we could just make our own at home and just like, or just making like a Keurig just a regular, like a Dunkin' Donuts coffee and then putting butter in it. It's not exactly what it is.
That was a thing for a while.
Yeah.
Then Trump happened. That was literally around the time right before Trump happened. That's where people's mind was.
Yeah.
Butter in your coffee, it'll make you less anxious. There's less of a calm down. Trump became president, and then
all hell broke loose. That was our biggest problem, was trying to figure out how to get butter into coffee.
Yeah.
That's all we had to worry about. You got something, Mike? You want me to jump in this one? You want to take it home?
I say you go in. I feel like I'm getting charged up.
Downtown Los Angeles, just tower straight up, get into the elevator, have to go up, deliver some human testicles to a medical supply company on the 99th floor. So they're in a cooler, like one of those medical grade coolers. And my high school crush walks in, and I'm like, my stomach sinks because I'm like, that was the last person I thought I'd see today. She's like, oh, hey, Nathan, how's it going? It's been so long. I'm like, yeah, it is. What floor are you going to? She's like, I'm going to the 90th floor. I'm like, oh, cool. So I hit the 90th floor. We start to go up, just kind of like awkwardly standing there, making small talk. The elevator stops, right? I'm like, what the fuck is going on? It like goes from like the regular lighting to like that red lighting, that happens during like emergency. Or like, hitting the emergency button, banging on the door, like, what's going on? What's going on? No cell phone service because we're like in the center of this big concrete building. We're just sitting back and we're like both under the assumption that like help is going to arrive soon. We can hear in the background a lot of shooting and a lot of yelling and a lot of commotion, and we're immediately come to the brutal realization that we're in some kind of terrorist situation. Building's been taken hostage in some way. Our lives are at risk. So we try to hunker down and try to get through this. Hopefully we'll be able to get out and see our families. But again, tension is high. We've got hours to kill. We just start reminiscing about high school. Do you remember that one teacher? He had a brain tumor and he was a big asshole. And then when he got the tumor taken out, he was really cool, relaxed, and used to smoke in his office. Just shit like that. God, you were at this guy's party. You were at the party after homecoming. Oh God, I was at that party too. I didn't have a date. I was going to ask you, but I was afraid of getting shot down because you were so cool. I don't know. Basically like rekindling the sexual tension of the past. A few hours go by. We don't hear any commotion from the outside. And we get a call on the intercom. And it's like, hello in there. This is John Josephine from LAPD. There's been a terrorist activity in the building. SWAT has eradicated them. However, they have left a series of explosive devices rigged around your elevator. We're working hard to come up with a solution to defuse them, but it's going to take some time. We had to call in some experts from Israel to come in and figure out, because it's a very complicated system of lasers and triggers. If anything happens, even the smallest movement could detonate this thing. So we're going to need you guys to sit tight. So we're like, fuck, this could take forever. One day turns into 2 days. 2 days turns into a week. A week turns into 2 weeks. They've been able to turn on the sprinkler system, so we've been able to drink water, but we are wasting away. Like all of our fat has been just consumed. We're starting to eat our own muscle. The testicles that I was carrying up, the human testicles, have rotted away, and we've tried to eat them. We both got extremely sick. We've been pissing and shitting in a corner, both extremely just trying to conserve our energy. And I'm having communication with the people in the intercom because they can hear us, and they're like, what's the status report? And I'm like, listen, this girl I'm with, I think she's going to die. I think she's extraordinarily malnourished. I was able to hold down more of the testicle than her. So I'm in bad shape and I'm doing better than her. And they're like, listen, we're 2 hours out from fixing this thing and getting you guys out of there. So what we're going to need you to do is we're going to need you to come in her mouth and so she can digest it and just get a little tiny bit of protein to last until the medical team can get in there. So with all like the energy that I can muster. I have to just like painfully get my dick hard. Like every movement is like, it feels like I'm lifting like 50 pounds. And I'm just like huffing and puffing the last tiny bit of energy that's in my body. And I'm so zapped of nutrients and protein that the cum just like barely ekes out. It's like toothpaste coming out of the tube. It's just like, but it falls into her mouth and she gets, you know, I chew it for her and I make sure it like goes down her throat. She gets a little like pep in her step a little bit. She kind of wakes up and looks at me and touches my face and was like, I knew I liked you for a reason. The medical team comes in and they extract us. I never see her again. But because I've lost so much weight and energy in this whole ordeal, I get a staph infection that renders me crippled from the waist down. And I spend the rest of my life touring around different places, like different police academies, telling them my survival story. I make a pretty good living for myself. That's the end of my fantasy.
It's a lot of wasting away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've noticed that theme too. And do you guys ever get like, we'll get on a wavelength and all of our fantasies will kind of click?
Yeah.
You guys ever notice that?
Mm-hmm. What was she doing on the 90th floor?
Oh, she was going to, like, I was going to the medical lab to deliver the testicles.
Uh-huh.
And she was, what the embarrassing thing that didn't really go through my mind at the time because the elevator stopped. She was going to be it was her shift to receive the testicles.
Okay.
Hey, what's going on? Remember me from high school? Well, my job is to deliver, human body parts to medical lab, and you probably have 5 kids and married to like a lawyer or something. She wouldn't eat the foreskin. There's a little bit of a penis attached to one of the testicles.
Uh-huh.
So there's a couple sets of testicles in there. There's a little bit of a penis attached to it. Like when they when you get like a chicken wing and there's like a little feather still on there. There's a little piece of a penis on there and there's a little tiny bit of a foreskin. She wouldn't eat it. She said, no, thank you. And that's what gave me that little burst, like made me last slightly longer than her.
Those few extra calories. Yeah.
Because we're both approximately the same height and size. I'm like 6'2", 220. She was about 6'2", 220 as well.
You're in there for so long that you ate through all your muscle, all your fat, and it was starting to eat. Oh, you were starting to eat your own muscle.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
Like not literally like eating it, like digesting it, but like
the body.
Yeah, I know, but just how you phrased it is it's just really a window into what's going on inside of you. You know what I mean? What gets you off? You are talking about comparing penises to chicken skin. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's very Ouroboros of you.
Yeah, I don't know what you just said, but
it's a snake that eats itself or whatever.
Oh. Well, you know what I just thought of in a survival situation? If you were uncircumcised, could you then circumcise yourself and eat the foreskin? Don't answer that question. It's rhetorical.
It's so disgusting.
And shut the fuck up.
You just keep going on and on and on about it. Like it's not the sickest shit I've ever heard in my life.
You want to hit us with one?
So you're in the elevator. By you, I mean me. I'm in an elevator going up. I'm a delivery man. Kind of a loser, but kind of a nice guy too. I'm nice to everyone in my apartment. And you can just tell I'm just like light on my feet and just really cute. Just a nice guy. And I get on the elevator. I got a package going up to the top floor. That's where the boss is. And on the 3rd floor, who should get on? Karen. Brown hair. Glasses. A little bit on the short side, but has a perfectly symmetrical face, great skin, beautiful smile, nice straight teeth. We've always had a rapport in high school. I just could never make it really work. Didn't have a lot of self-esteem, and at the time she was extremely popular. And here we are now on the elevator, catching up a little bit, but we both know, after this trip, it just sayonara, whatever, who cares? We won't see each other again. Life goes on. Who gives a shit? But the elevator stops. Screech! Sparks and stuff happen in the tracks of the elevator. Okay, so we're stuck in there. And it's hot. And we're both like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. This is so us. So, yeah, this is unbelievable. Can you believe this is crazy? What are the odds? So we start rapping about old times, talking about experiences in high school. Oh, you went to this party? You were there? Oh, shit, I had a date. I wish I would have asked you on a date. I knew I was a coward to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She said, I studied engineering in high school. So I want to check out the top of the elevator, see what's going on. It seems like no one's responding. Well, I was like, yeah, well, we're on closing hours, so there aren't a lot of people around. She climbs up there, and she's wearing crotchless panties, but with gartered belt. With a gartered belt. And it's hot as fuck in there. She's on my shoulders. Her pussy's on the back of my neck. So she's up there banging stuff around. She kind of like wiggles around so that her crotch is just straight up in my mouth. You know what I'm saying? And it's hot as fuck in there. And I just start munching. Instinctually, I just start munching really hard. You know what I mean? She wraps her legs around the back of my head. I'm suffocating. I'm lifting this person who's fairly short. I wouldn't say tiny, but like shortish. So she's light. And I start doing stuff to her and to me while she's on there. And it's getting pretty hot. The elevator starts going up extremely fast. She starts screaming. She wraps her legs around my head and squeezes so hard. Swear to God, dude, this happened in real life. Head popped straight off. I swear to God, I was watching this video yesterday on YouTube. And it's surveillance footage. This woman, it was similar, had her legs wrapped around this guy's head. Head pops right off, rolls around on the ground. And she's screaming, there's blood everywhere. It's crazy. So I never bust. And then I wake up, and it wake up was actually a dream. I passed out, and I had an erection, and I ejaculated in my pants for the first time. And my high school crush saw it, and it's just like pretending not to acknowledge it at all. I got some soggy pants. And then she ate my penis. She was so embarrassed she ate my penis like a piece of chicken. And Vincent Gallo was there, and he was filming it, and it was a movie. Zoom out, it was a movie. All of it was fiction. And it was and then you zoom out a little bit further, and it's all three of us, and we're in those Hollywood chairs, and it says writers. Three of them. How cool would that be? Talk about a fantasy. You were a talented screenwriter. So talented you can make any movie you wanted. And you just made that.
Yeah.
Movie, and you had sex with all the women in the movie that were acting in it.
Yeah, that's the kind of movie that legends are made out of.
I said last episode that someone keeps sending me emails and stuff.
Yeah.
I have a message for them.
Oh, cool. What's the email that they sent to you?
I don't really want to get into it. When they hear this, they'll understand what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so this is for you. Let's call you M. A lot of the things you were saying were true. Some of them you made up in your own head. One of the things that I look forward to is meeting you one day. Will it be when I'm my age now? Or will it be when we're a little bit older? Or will it be in the afterlife? Right now, I can say probably not. Later on, who can say? In the afterlife, guaranteed. I know you're watching me, and I want you to know that I don't care. I want to know you. I want to know what you smell like. I want to know what your hair smells like. I want to know what the inside of your house is like. I want to meet your cat. I want to meet your roommates. I just can't do it right now. I have a lot going on. But I do care about you, and I want you to keep listening, and I want you to keep solving my riddles. I speak in riddles. I speak directly to you, in riddles. And I would do anything for you, and I hope that you would do the same for me. That's it.
Sounds like you and M have a real powerful connection.
Just a little message to a friend.
It never hurts to, have another friend, build another relationship. You never know when it's going to come in handy. Like if you need M to do something for you that like you wouldn't be able to do yourself,
or you wouldn't be able to like tell them.
Yeah, you could find a way to communicate it because you have such a strong bond. Like if you had a problem you needed taken care of, you know what I mean?
Well, it's someone. What was the saying King says? He doesn't say it directly. He doesn't say do this. He says, well, it's someone rid me of this jester or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever heard that?
Yeah.
I think Donald Trump got accused of saying that. Man, I wish someone would just, you know what I mean, blast this woman in the face with a gun.
Mm-hmm.
What are you saying? He was saying mean stuff to Hillary Clinton. Remember that?
Yeah. Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah.
Someone killed her. Today be mourn a queen. HRC. Well, it's 10 o'clock, boys. At least almost 10 o'clock. I know we all have families to get to and sick wives to tend to. And I always loved this. I love you guys. And I really appreciate you taking time out of your lives to fantasize with me.
I'm gonna go jack off to Dakota Fanning.
Oh yeah?
I think so. I've been staring at her since we started.
Which
I just see like flashes on that are reflecting off of your sweaty face, and like, pink and red, and it's weird.
Is she like a